All right, let's talk some more about how to clean a tile roof properly. So there's a few more things to know, and let's jump into them, okay? So obviously to start, you go down to up, and you're going to clean as much as you can from that angle. You're going to go, if it's a raised tile roof like this, you're going to come back and hit the other angle. You don't have to be super perfect. Cover a decent area, and be mindful of your time. You don't want to be there all day, but you do want to do a perfect job. When you're on the edge, you should have a variable gun trigger, so you should be able to shoot just a little bit, and on those edges you're just very careful to use as little, I'm going to just call it juice from now on, use as little juice as possible, okay? And if you don't get those edges perfectly, those corners, which you won't, you're going to use a distance one for pressure with a green tip. You're going to use just water pressure on those edges, just right there, because you're not going to be able to get those so easily every time, okay? And then you just clean all the different sections from down to up. Don't get too significant about how to clean it. Some people say down to up. I would say most people do. Some people clean up to down. Just clean it. Don't overthink it. Main thing you need to know is just get up on those roofs and start working. It's a lot of fun. I don't know if you notice, it is fun. Now, on these crests are going to be harder to clean even with chlorine. They're not necessarily going to come out, and you need to use pressure on them. Even with very strong chlorine or juice. This is probably too strong. This was a pretty black roof, and I went a little bit too strong here, but this is about a 60% mix. You can see it cleans it almost right away, but even then, you have just a little bit of blackness on the crests. And you get that out when you rinse the roof and you use a little bit of pressure on them. Because they've already been pre-cleaned with chlorine, you don't need to go too strong, and they'll come out perfect. So you clean the roof from this angle, everything looks perfect, right? Okay, well, turn around. Okay, see all the black from the other angle? If you're new to roof cleaning, you'll miss that angle. You need to come back and hit it from that side. And this is where I go through and clean those crests. So obviously we're going to use just a green tip. This is normally used for rinsing. And you go through and you clean those crests, and they should come out very quickly, very clean. If you're going to do solar panels, very mild. Any residential cleaning solution will work, like Dawn dish soap. Very mild, and you apply it with a squeegee. This is me just rinsing the squeegee. You can kind of see the squeegee is right there. But that's an upsell. So you definitely want to do those. And, that's a picture of squeegeeing. Very easy. There's not much to know. But just know you're not using chlorine on these. And it's an upsell because if they're clean, they will generate more power for your customer. Okay? And the customer needs to know that you can do them. So if you can do them, you put that into the bid, and the customer will be happy. Here's some examples of what you can do with tile cleaning. This is maybe not the best picture, but there's a before and after. Before and after. Very satisfying work. There's a before and after. That's flat tile. Hard to crack. Doesn't matter how heavy you are. And that's after. Before and after. Now the edges, again, you're using a rinse nozzle. You're using water pressure to clean the edges. If they're not perfectly clean with the chlorine already, which usually they're not. There's another example. All right, that's before. And that's what you can do for your customer. That's a Google review right there. Okay. That's in the middle of a job. That's the soft wash tips. Usually you only use two, one for spread, one for distance. And let's talk about white tiles. So white tiles is the same thing, except you're using slightly stronger mix, maybe 55. Well, I would still say 50. Probably 50 is good. And then you're going through the whole roof when you're done, and you're using a green tip on every tile. It's more work, you charge more, but not everybody likes to do it or even knows how to do it. But you should be coming out with a brand new white tile roof, no matter how dirty they are. If they don't look absolutely perfect, well, the paint came off and they didn't call you soon enough. But that's before, and that's after using both a strong mix soft wash and the green tip to rinse. Okay? And then you also want to clean the soffits, and the fascia is the fancy words for underneath the edge of the roof. And the side of the, this is the side of the roof, the fascia. You always do the chimneys while you're up there. I mean, why not? What else? Who else is going to clean them? So you put that into your bid. You don't do it for free. These are cleaned with a green tip wand extender. So you get yourself a little step ladder. You should always have one. Climb up a little bit and hit them very rapidly because they're already pre-cleaned with the chlorine. You just rapidly go through, make them look brand new, because that's what your customer's looking at most of the time. So they have to look perfect. And then you can go through and clean these as well. This can either be part of a house wash or a roof clean. If you're doing everything, you have to do these two. And that's about how it looks. So that's how you use chlorine, and that's how you clean tile roofs. Let's move on to the next one, shingles.